Welcome into a new chapter for El Couture videos, as this is our first movie in our shark movie tier list, as I rank shark movies from the good to the really, oh my god, bad. Or since even a bad movie though could be good because it might be fun, if it's fun to watch. So obviously, to start off the first video here, I feel we need to set a baseline for the tier list, and the best way to do that is by starting off with the greatest shark movie series of all time, Jaws. So that way, we'll set a precedent for where all the other movies will fall. So as we look at my tier list here, here's our categories. We got Jawsome, we got good, we got okay, meh, and chum. Obviously, Jawsome is going to be the shark movies that are just amazing to watch, either really good or super fun to watch. The good or good movies are also bad movies that are just fun. And obviously, the rest makes it self explanatory. As you see, we have the four Jaws movies on there right now. Technically, I do have that. I know you see the Requiem. I had to put a fifth movie on there in order to make the tier list to start it with. Wouldn't let you just do four, so I just threw that on there because eventually we will be covering that. I haven't even watched it yet. I own it on Vudu, but we will get there. But right now, we're just going to focus on the four Jaws movies. So let's start with the first Jaws movie. Came out in 1975. It is a classic. I mean, is there any way to get around it? I would, if I was, doing a top 10 movies of all time, this might be in my top 10 because Jaws invented the summer blockbuster movie. This was where the summer blockbuster movie started. Right here was Jaws. Jaws also has a lot of cultural significance on everything. It was one of the big movies for Steven Spielberg. It's pretty much launched Steven Spielberg's career. And obviously, what really stands out in this movie is the top tier cast and how well the casting. The Roy Schrader, Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss, young Richard Dreyfuss at the beginning of his career, Lorraine Gary. Obviously, those are our main characters, and that's like the acting in this movie still holds up to this day. The shark at times does look, does look a little fake, but the acting is also what sells it. Also, what helps with this movie was um, this movie almost didn't happen. There's so many problems. They built a couple robot sharks, and the goal was that they were going to be filming it in like a pool or fresh water. And Spielberg wanted to film it on the ocean. The sharks had problems working in the salt water. The ocean conditions made it hard to film. Filming on the ocean is extremely difficult, and it went way over its time allotment, way over budget. There's all kinds of problems with making this movie, and with all the shark problems, it led to probably what's one of the best parts of Jaws is since sharks didn't work too much. That's why we did. That's why you didn't see the shark for most of the movie to cover up the fact that it wasn't working, and that actually makes the movie better because of that. So we have all that working for it, and we get obviously the classic opening with Chrissy, who does a little skinny dip in the ocean at the beginning, gets the rip back and forth with the "it hurts, it hurts." Oh, well, yeah, that's one of the most iconic movie scenes of all time, right there. Just a little smile, you son of a bitch, at the end there. So I mean, Jaws is a fantastic movie. It's the camaraderie between the actors works. Some of the most memorable scenes in movie history. The fear of the shark works. Its impact on society, like I said, it was not only was it the first big summer blockbuster, it made people terrified of sharks. And the bad part of this movie is it led to a mass killing of sharks. People just went out and just believed the only good shark was a dead shark. And even the author of the book, Jaws, regretted actually ever writing the book at one point because how sharks almost got pushed to extinction because of the fear this movie caused. So it's very impactful series. Now, the factual stuff with sharks is a great white would not act in this behavior, and a great white also it's and well as these movies would go on, it's a great white approaching the size of a whale shark. It's pretty much by the end of it, you're almost getting a megalodon at this point because it's way longer, bigger than great whites would ever get. First one kind of started off with maybe just a super large one, but could possibly low 20 feet. But this is obviously one of the pure movies of all time. It's one of the pure shark movies of all time. So, I mean, there's not much we can really say about this anymore. But I mean, it's gloating. Uh, to this day, I think its IDMDB rating is 8.1. Popularity is at 94%. And every summer, people just love to watch Jaws. So, because of that, Jaws is going to take, obviously, one of the top spots on the list. It is Jawsome, where the title of that phrase comes from. I mean, just only a few movies that are actually that have ever really, come close to reaching that sequel. No, argument of because Hollywood loves to remake things. I can make the argument that Jaws could use a remake or special edition at least. Let George Lucas go in and do a CGI shark. Like I said, the shark doesn't hold up. The acting does. So I don't think you ever get the acting performance you get ever. Another group of characters that you get for these three guys. So there's where we're going to place Jaws. So from Jaws, 3 years later, in 1978, we got Jaws 2. Because you knew there had, a movie that did so well, obviously, has the event sequels. And honestly, I'm not sure how many movies had sequels at this point in time. So this obviously we brought back Roy Schreider and Lorraine Gary as our Birdies and Mrs. Birdie. And then obviously the mayor's returned his things. Richard Dreyfuss did not come back for this one, and we brought in some new other people there, play the kids and stuff like that. Part I forgot to mention about. I don't know if they so much in Jaws 2 did, but in Jaws 1, a lot of the extras were actually people from the city they were filming, which I thought was really well, because they just got extras that lived in that city they were filming at to fill in. So, I guess I could have talked about the movies. Where Jaws 1 was obviously a shark came to Amityville and was taking people out, and to the point where obviously our main characters went out on a vessel to go out and hunt the shark, and the shark led to a big open sea battle with them and the shark. So Jaws 2, obviously, we have the another shark coming back for more. We do see the shark more quicker and more often in this one. The shark appears right off the bat, gets scarred up pretty easily. Obviously, we did have a different director who took a tank on this one, Jeanette Schwark. Not sure. Never heard of that director ever again, so I don't know. This maybe how much they've done after this. So we do get to see the shark a lot earlier in the movie, and so it has a couple kills, and then we have like the kids are obviously the birdie's kids are now one of his kids is now a teenager who's in the sailing. And him and his buddies take this big sailing boat out in the open, and the shark goes out, follows them out, and causes all this mayhem at sea, trying to pick off the kids off the sailboats. And Birdie, who at one point gets fired from his job because of the shark scares he's having. As soon as he starts seeing shark attack scenes, he gets all panicked because of the last one, PTSD, I guess, and it causes him to lose his job. But then he goes after, but he don't care. He goes after to go out to save the kids on his own, anyways. So obviously, I mean the Brody's family get the good acting out of them. The younger kid actors are okay, for what they are. So and but it doesn't feel like you get as many kills in this one. And at a certain point, um, You have to see the movie a few times. You know, there's a certain point where the kills stop because it's kind of weird because it's there's a girl, one of the girls on the boat does this whole prayer thing, and then nobody else dies after that. So I was like, whatever. So it's like what the prayer so that you couldn't kill anybody else after that part, I guess, to try and whatever. Of course, in the end, goes with the shark biting down on a power line and electrocuting himself and blowing up. Boom, saves the day. Birdie saves the day again. So while not as good as the first one, I don't find Jaws 2 to be a bad movie. I still find it very enjoyable. I don't believe in its 5.8 rating on IMDb. I think that's a little harsh. I would at least I could go up to about about around the 7 maybe for it. So it's still a good movie, while not as good as the original. So Jaws 2 will be in our good section. Good shark movie, and it's very enjoyable. So it's definitely worth watching. Now we take a turn as we go to Jaws 3 in 3D or Jaws 3D. All right, so 1983. So we're now it's 3 years for the sequel, 5 years before they make Jaws 3. So we're starting into the 80s, and we got the 3D movie hype that's going on. So they want to do a Jaws movie in 3D. So apparently Roy Schroeder didn't want to come back. It was done here. I don't. So he's decided to move on. So what we do is we take. Now we're going to follow the kids. Mike Birdie's now grown up and being played by Dennis Quaid. We also get Louis Gossett Jr. in this movie and a young Leah Thompson, probably one of her first movies, as well in this movie. Um, this movie involves Mike, who's gone through 2 encounters with sharks. Decides he's going to go work at a SeaWorld and be an engineer and design a underwater system of tunnels and stuff like that for people to walk through in this giant, I guess, man-made lagoon, sort of. I don't know if it was man-made. The lagoon was natural or not. They have this big open lagoon area that they can open a gate to the ocean to and stuff like that. And the movie opens with skiers, and you see a shark's kind of following them a little bit, but doesn't get anybody. And then the shark makes the dive into the lagoon as they're closing the gate and causes the gate to malfunction. So our shark gets into the lagoon. And so while Mike's the engineer, his girlfriend is a animal trainer, works with the dolphins and trains dolphins, trains the dolphins and the orcas. And his brother Sean comes back in. This is where it's just going to be key to remember in the next movie when I get through. So Sean is grown up and goes to a college in Colorado because he's staying as far away because he wants nothing to do with the water. Obviously, I don't blame him. He'd be traumatized. It has nothing to do with the water, so he goes to Colorado, but then he comes to visit his son, and they play up with his fear of the water kind of stuff as well. This is another one. You don't get to see much of the shark at first. And then they kind of realize when they realize there's a shark in there. So first it's a small shark, and they manage to trank it and capture it, and then realize it's a baby shark. Because then they find like the remains of some of the guy who got killed at the very beginning of the movie when he was trying to fix the gate that I mentioned that the shark broke. That he went at night, went down diving, free diving, to fix the gate, and the shark got him. Because yeah, that sounds like a smart working technique. So they piece it together that it's a baby shark and its mama is on the inside, and mama's been like stuck in this filtration tube that they end up letting her out. And mama is this, I don't even know how long she was, shark was this. 30, 40 foot long great white or something along this lines. Absolutely massive shark. Tell it's robotic. It does, it doesn't look very realistic. Too realistic all the way. So that leads to the shark attacking underwater tunnels, traps the people in the tunnel. They get trapped in the center there. So they need to do something to the shark so they can go down and have Mike go down and fix it. And there's all the hygienics. I mean, there's some interesting kills. Like one guy gets into the shark's mouth and gets crushed while trying to pop a grenade. So somehow he stays in the shark's mouth when a shark even eats other people. Somehow the other people go behind him and he just stays there because they're going to use the pin. They're going to pull. Final scene is them pulling the pin out of the shark's out of the grenade, so the shark blows up. The acting in this is not super good. The shark, I mean, excuse the parts that are supposed to be like they're trying to do for 3D to try and make it look good. It's because they're trying to play up the 3D part. But a lot of the shark scenes don't look good. The shark comment like looks like a toy when it comes up to break the glass at the end of the movie, and it's pretty much just got his head into this window trying to attack, going back and forth trying to attack people, and it just a lot of this movie just doesn't look right. I mean, the cool part is they had the dolphins as characters and even did a little fake scare with one of them dying. But the reason I took this a little bit longer to make this movie is I was not going. I have Jaws 1 and 2 on Vudu. I was not going to buy Jaws 3 or Jaws 4 to watch, so I had to wait for them to go on demand somewhere. There, I think it's TNT on demand on TNT to watch them, so I could finally finish this video. So Jaws 3. We're gonna put it in the meh category. So we're gonna give Jaws 3 the meh. It would have been, it could have been chum, except for we're gonna cover this guy. So Jaws 4, or Jaws the Revenge. So we bring back Lorraine Gary from the first 2 movies, so she reprises her role. But then we get a whole new cast. Michael Brody goes from Dennis Quaid to Lance Guest, who almost looks a little younger. He is a scientist that does diving in the ocean, and the movie he's working on a project with sea snails, abalones. So in Jaws 3, he was a water engineer. Jaws 4, he's a scientist. I'm not trying to. I'm not sure if they're trying to replace, but we're going to get more on why I don't know if they erased Jaws 3 from canon or not. So the movie opens in Amityville. We have Ellen Brody and her other son Sean, played by Mitchell Anderson. Sean is Chief Brody has died of a heart attack, so they've killed him off. I'm not sure if Roy Scheider was dead, but I think he's still around. So this movie came out when? 1987. So yeah, Roy was still around because he still did Sequest and stuff like that in the 90s. So obviously Roy did not want to come back for this movie either. So Sean is now a deputy at the Amityville Police Department, following, I guess, in his father's footsteps. Although it's not really quite sure what happened to his father, because last we know is he got fired from the chief job. We don't know if whatever happened to him from the end of Jaws 2. Did he get the job back? I personally think after 2 shark things with almost killing your kids and all that stuff, you'd get the hell off the island. Would have been my thoughts there. You would just say, "Screw this, let's get out of here." But maybe not. But so Sean is a deputy or something with the police department, and he gets a call to go out and remove a piece of driftwood that's been lodged onto one of the buoys. So once again, so this the guy who was had shark encounters when he was a young kid. If Jaws 3 is canon, he's scared of water. He went to water and almost had a close run in with another giant shark. Is now a deputy that's going out on the ocean to remove driftwood. That really doesn't fit the character. While reaching over, the shark does like a 5 foot radius jump out of the water. I mean, sharks can do a jumping attack on a seal that pops them out of the water. But this shark supposedly came along the side of the ocean and just came up like real long like that. I don't. A lot of breaking physics. Rips his arm off, and then he's trying to yell, but there's like a choir singing, so no one can hear him. I guess he leans over the boat to get the yell. The shark comes up and grabs the rest of him, pulls him in the water, ripping half the boat at the same time, and shrinks him and kills him and shrinks the boat. And so Sean's dead. And Ellen realizes it's a shark attack, and she starts believing that the shark killed him, and the shark caused her husband's heart attack that killed him because it was the fear. But they convince her to go to the Bahamas to go hang out with them for Christmas. And they go fly down there. It's where we also get Michael Caine, who's our airplane pilot, small airplane pilot. We meet Michael's family. Carla, played by Karen Young, and Thea, played by Judith Barsow, was kind of an adorable kid, kind of an annoying kid at the same time. His partner is Jake, who's played by Mario Van Peebles, who's about playing the most typical Jamaican Bahamian kind of person you could see. So Ellen keeps having these like shark flashbacks and shark things, and finally, our shark shows up out of nowhere because they're saying, "Oh, there's great whites don't come to the Bahamas." Which I think they don't think they fully go to the Bahamas. I think they go. They will go. I think they're on the outskirts of the Bahamas. I don't know if they actually go. It's more tiger shark territory. To be honest, but that's another. That's not. That's real facts. So then so a big giant great white shows up and they're like, "Don't tell my mom." And they want to study the tag the great white and study it and all that kind of stuff. So Mike has a couple run-ins with the shark because the shark's only seems to come after him whenever he's diving. So you have a couple chases with the shark. This shark, we see a lot of the shark for some of these parts, and it doesn't look very good. It looks super robotic. And then the big climax of the movie is the little girl goes on a little banana boat ride, and the shark comes up, and instead, but grabs like the adult that's like on the thing behind her and pulls her in and kills the adult that's riding the back of the banana boat, and that's how everyone finds out there's a giant shark there. And Ellen Burney gets this idea that the shark is coming for just her family because this is a vengeful shark that just knows that her family has killed other giant sharks. So she takes the boat on a mission, on a sacrifice mission to go out and fight the shark, old man and Z style. Not making this up. If you haven't seen it. So the shark makes a couple of attacks on her on the boat. Once again, this shark can lift itself like 8 feet out of the water. And while they were tagging it, they tagged it with this little electronic thing that could like measure, so they could hear the shark's heartbeat and know when they know it's close. They get Michael Caine to fly his little plane out there. He crashes the plane. The shark then eats the plane, pretty much. Pulls the plane underwater. They stick something in its throat, which causes Mario Van Peebles to look like he gets killed. And this, whenever it hit this button, it would like give the shark this super pain, and then it would like shark would pop up out of the water like and roar. It literally roars. Sharks roar. And there's a couple other movies we're going to end up covering, I think, where they have roaring sharks underwater too. So the shark would go right up in the water, and kept doing it, and to the point where she was able to take the mast of the ship and ram it into the shark, causing the shark to explode and the ship to sink. Not quite sure how that works. How stabbing a shark with a wooden pole is supposed to make it just kind of blow up. But they like exploding sharks in these movies. So then they find Mario Pebbles is alive, and a dog is floating on driftwood at the end, waiting for someone to come and rescue them. So this one probably has like the lowest kill count because the shark's almost like pinpointing the family. So it kills Sean in New York, comes all the way down to the Bahamas, and kills the banana boat girl. I'm not quite sure if it has any other kills. There's only 2 kills in this movie. I feel like there's got to be something I'm forgetting here somewhere. There had to be a kill somewhere that I just don't remember. Did it really just been 2 kills in the entire movie? Maybe. Michael Caine just did the movie for the paycheck. You know, he's never watched it because he thought it was terrible. I've seen the house that is. So I don't know. I'm thinking there might have been 2 kills in this whole movie. Wow, that's a wow. I've gotta be someone. There's gotta be one I'm forgetting somewhere. Like that he killed along the way to the Bahamas or something like that. I just don't know. I don't know. I just can't remember. But it was bad. This movie is as bad as I. I mean, I know the movie is bad, and I was expecting it to be bad. And I watched it again just to give it the fair rank, and I was like, yeah, this is as bad as I thought it remembered to be. So, for the process of our tier list, Jaws 4 is our first movie that hits the chum category. Yeah, just don't watch it. It doesn't make sense with the continuality. It's almost like this movie was erased, and now this movie is the true sequel to these movies. So much of this movie doesn't factor into this movie. Like Mike's now married to a totally different woman who's an artist, and like they replaced the female. Sean is makes sense is like going to Colorado, staying away from water. Now is over here as a deputy in Amityville, and then goes out on the police boat. So a lot of stuff does not make sense between these 2 movies. That's where the Jaws series kind of ends there. For so Jaws has been on the sidelines for 30 some years. Wow. Sorry, getting late here. So there's a start to our tier list. We'll get more going. Let's see. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. Hey, we could do Deep Blue Seas, but I got to get a hold of see if I can find the second movie for that series. Probably do maybe the 47 meters down. Maybe do Meg closer when the Meg 2 comes out. And then I can give that one an honest, go see that in the theaters, and we'll get a rating on that one in real time right after it comes out in the theater. Uh, we got Black Demon. I bought that one recently, so I haven't got to watch that yet either. Both as well as Requiem. We got a few stuff to go, so we'll have to decide where I want to go, which ones set of movies I want to do next. If I want to do another big group series or a single shot. But there's we have our board our baseline set. Jawsome, one good, one meh, one chum. Nobody's in the okay category yet. Jaws 3, you can almost make the argument for Jaws 3 to be okay, but nah, it's meh. So there's the start to our shark tier list. Please like and subscribe and hit the bell if you're wanting to see how the rest of these movies go on here. Probably get better with my formatting as I go, a noob. But thank you for watching.